everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today I am sat on my S1000R, which I have now owned for over 6 months, so BMW have informed me. So I thought it was time to cover a proper in-depth review on this bike. Having it for 6 months now, I've had it throughout the winter and the feedback is outstanding. Absolutely love the bike. Now, for those of you that don't know, my name's Dom and I have come from a S1000R onto the single R. There's videos on my channel covering my impressions of the RR, which is a fantastic bike. Absolutely love it, but unfortunately my body didn't, and that meant I'm sat on this 1000R because literally I was going to physio every month. I should have been going every 2 weeks really, just to be able to ride the bloody thing. Whereas of course now jumping onto a naked in the upright position, don't have those issues of body complaints. And the thing I found with the RR was, in the winter months especially, you just wouldn't want to ride it because, you know, it's just, although the electronics are fantastic, it was a bit of a handful in the wet. You know, the wheel was spinning up, you were riding very fast top end speeds, and your back was absolutely killing. So the 1000 single R for the road makes a hell of a lot more sense. Now if I had a garage, a perfect garage, which had a RR and this single R in it, what you'll find is if you're going out for an hour, 2 hour blast, you take the RR, of course you would, if it was a nice sunny day. But the rest of the time you'll be taking the single R. I mean, you'll definitely take it probably 85% of the time, and that is because this bike is just so good at doing everything. It's like here, on here I've got a button just to quickly change the suspension into road, because now it's hammering me, really bumpy. You don't have that on the RR, you have to go into your modes on the other side. But it's got all the other electronics that you've got on the RR, minus a couple of sort of DTC where you could change, where I could just change now that suspension on the RR, that's reserved for changing the DTC traction control. What that means is obviously you can just scale it back, scale it forward on the fly, which is great for track stuff. On the road, don't really need it that much. What you need on the road is this one here, where you completely disable traction control, and that gives you fun with regards to wheelies and all those other things you want to play with. Okay, so number one, comfort. It's a very comfortable bike, fits absolutely great. I am 5'11", just under 13 stone, and for me, really like this bike, really great. Cruise control, absolute lifesaver for when you come in villages and you want to crack off your wrist and just take it a bit easy and loosen up a bit. The electronics got absolutely everything, keep you alive and safe, and the BMW electronics are absolutely brilliant. The screen is fantastic, it's the best screen out there for a bike. Modes wise, like I say, you haven't really got, on a lot of these litre bikes, you've got full ability to change all your modes, which you can do in Dynamic Pro, which I'm now sitting in, but you can only do that when you're in neutral, so you can't be doing that on the fly. So that's something to bear in mind, you know, if you're somebody that likes to adjust their riding style quite a lot. But you can pump in pretty much what you want. So on your modes, you've got rain, you've got road, you've got dynamic, and then you've got Dynamic Pro. So, you know, road and dynamic, I mean, I've got my Dynamic Pro, which covers half of it, and then obviously I just adjust my suspension from dynamic, auto responsive, or road, depending how bumpy the road is. Speed. Now, it's a quick bike, yes, it's as quick as anything out there. Coming from the RR, I would like a little bit more. I mean, I said it didn't need shift cam, but the gearing in second gear gets me. Like, you'll be doing a fast overtake and I need to shift up from second to third, and I would have liked to have stayed in second all the way through. I think if they geared it that way, it probably would have been a bit flat, so maybe shift cam would have been an option to put in there, but then the cost of doing that, I don't know. For me, it's 160 brake horse. I mean, it's great, but just a little bit more, a little bit of tuning would have made me a very happy man. As it stands, I'll probably do that myself later on. And the elephant in the room then is the bike is boring or soulless. I mean, that's the normal review that you get given of the bike, and I myself have said that on the first test ride I did of this, comparing it with a RR, and we still stand by that. You know, the bike is so clinical in the way that it gives you the power that you do lose a bit of that fun, a bit of that excitement, but that's also the reason why you jump on this bike all the time, because let's face it, you're not going to be hooning it all the time. The road conditions are not allowing you to take the maximum that the bike can give you. So it's that clinical side is good, and why you want to ride the bike so often. But it's also the reason why, if you're doing 0 to 100 on this, or you're doing 0 to 100 on a Toronto V4 factory, you're going to have more of a smile on your face on the Aprilia. But I would still take this every day. I like that predictability, I like that tempered nature, and you know, it's fast enough. It does absolutely everything you could want it to do. I mean, there, just a third gear roll on, no bother at all. Brakes are also fantastic. Compared to all the other liters I've been riding hyper nakeds, these are the standout best brakes. Still not as good as the RR, but they don't really need to be with that reduced power that's coming from here. It handles really well. It just tips so nicely, but it's light, so when you find yourself in town wanting to do a quick 3-point turn, handles it no bother. It's very light to be moving around, and when you're obviously on it, giving a little bit of pace, it tips lovely. It tracks exactly where you want it to go. It doesn't feel heavy at all. And then price, it's around 13 to 15 grand, depending what you're getting and what toys. So if you say about 14.5 really, with all the toys that you really want, which will make it one of the cheapest liter hyper nakeds out there. It's just a great do-it-all all-rounder, and that's why you buy it. You know, yeah, you can do a track on it if you want, but if you start getting into track racing a lot, you're going to want a specific track bike. Yeah, you can go fast and keep up with all the other liters, but you know, it will do it in a way that is manageable and safe with BMW's little electronics and arm around you. But if you want to turn them off, you can, and then it becomes a real lively monster. You turn off the traction control, you in Dynamic Pro, you know, turn off engine braking, or put it onto the race mode engine braking, put anti-wheelie off, then this thing, you know, is gonna scare the crap out of you. Turn it all on and put it in rain nanny mode, and it's as tame and as quiet as anything. Comfort that I touched on, the seat comfort's great. I mean, I can ride this all day long. Yeah, you will get a little bit of a numb bum after about 4 hours, but you will with any bike. I've got the normal seat. You can get a comfort seat that will make life a little bit more comfortable, but I haven't felt the need to do it, and I've gone on some all-day rides and had no issues whatsoever with it. It's great in all weathers, not an issue in the cold, in the wet, obviously lovely in the sun. The shifter and blipper is obviously sublime, as you would expect from BMW. So, you know, when you hit the nationals, just downshift and you're away. There isn't much, it's a naked, and if you get tucked right in here, it does very little, but gives you a little bit. I mean, if you're riding above 110 miles an hour, 0 to 110, it's brilliant. When you hit that 110, you know you've hit it. The wind is smacking you and it is slowing you down, tucking yourself in there. When you get into about 140, everything is feeling on its limits, even though the bike will go up to 160 odd, 165 I believe. But really at 140, you're starting to feel you're on a naked, and you need the bigger kahunas to get it up to the max. Whereas obviously on the R with your bubble and sitting within the fairing, you could be easily into the 180s thinking you're doing 100. So all in all, this is the perfect all-rounder. This bike is just great to ride, will do everything and anything you ask it to do when you ask it to do it. Will it put a smile on your face? Yes. The fact that we say it's soulless and it's a bit clinical and not exciting, it is still a motorbike, it's still a litre. It is that way if you are riding it in a tame manner. If you take the aids off and you start giving it the welly, believe me, this bike is, you know, is an animal if you want it to be. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. A like and a subscribe would be greatly appreciated, and if you do like 1000R and motorcycle content in general, please check out the channel and see what videos are on there, and see you on the next video. Thanks again for watching.